Hello, dear students. Once again, I welcome you in my video. And today we are going towards a wonderful story again. This story is not a general story, this is the story about the detectives and criminal. So, who are these expert detectives and are they really get the success in their mission? So be ready to get the idea about these expert detectives and the criminal to whom they are studying, the criminal to whom they are following. So here, students, you will get two videos, two parts of this particular lesson, this particular story. This is the first part of the expert detectives. Next part will come soon. So you enjoy this first part and you have to wait for the next another part also, when you will go through both the parts thoroughly, and then you will really find, dear students, that you have got a very wonderful and enjoyable story. You will entertain yourself. So I welcome you for the in this first part of the expert detectives. So we'll start with the information. We'll start with the introduction of the author. The author, the writer of this particular story is Sharda Dwivedi. Sharda Dwivedi was a Mumbai-based author, historian, and researcher. She wrote several books on the history and culture of both Indian and Mumbai-based. She was on the panel on the Mumbai Heritage Conservation Committee. Among her most famous work was Bombay, the Cities Within. Dear students, as we are discussing today about the detectives, the expert detectives, before going towards the actual stories, we should know what is the detectives, what are the detectives. A detective is a member of the police force or a private investigator whose function is to discover information about crimes and find out who is responsible for them. In detective functions, Sherlock Holmes is a famous private detective created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And Bomkesh Bakshi is also a famous Indian Bengali fictional detective created by Shardandu Bandopadhyay. Okay, so these are the examples of expert detectives, and I know you also read, your students, the stories of detectives. So we'll go towards the next part of the expert detectives. The story Expert Detectives is a debate between brilliant siblings Maya and Nishad whether a strange man, Mr. Nath, is a crook or lonely man in the need of kind friends. So you try to understand. Here, the story is the debate between the two expert detectives who are trying to find it out something more about Mr. Nath, and they have argument that Mr. Nath is a crook. Crook means a dishonest person, a criminal, or a lonely man in need of kind friends. So they are curious about a personality, Mr. Nath, and they wanted to find out more about Mr. Nath. You must be getting what actually I'm trying to explain what is in this story. Okay, so they wanted to find it out that this Mr. Nath is a crook, means as is a dishonest person, or is he an innocent person that has created a certain kind of tension in the story. Readers get connected to the world of children, their curious pursuit to know the things around. You know that you are also children, so children are curious about to find out the things. They are curious about to know the different things. So in this way, this brother Nishad and his sister Maya, they are curious to find out about Mr. Nath. Okay, so Maya suspects that he is a criminal, and Nishad also find a good innocent man in him. Nishad, a boy of seven, also called Seven because his name means the seventh note on the musical scale. So, meaning of Nishad is the seventh note on the musical scale, and therefore this Nishad is also called as Seven in this story. And his 10-year-old sister Maya are very curious about one Mr. Nath. Okay, so both are very curious. They had so many questions they wonder about Mr. Nath. Nishad's mother, a doctor, knows Mr. Nath as a patient who is very polite. But their mother, who is a doctor, she knows that Mr. Nath is nothing but a patient and who is very polite person. Then one day the children's marble roll into Mr. Nath's room and Nishad gets a chance to see him. So their search, okay, their searching, their detective activity starts from there. One day what happens to your children? These children were playing marble. Okay, you may be playing marbles or not. I don't know. I have shown here what are the marbles they were playing and their marble roll into Mr. Nath's room and Nishad gets a chance to see him. Nishad, with the reason that his marble rolled in his room, and therefore Nishad goes over there and he gets chance to see Mr. Nath. Actually, they had curiosity. They wanted to see this man, and they had a suspect. They doubt this man. They were suspected about this man. Is he a crook on the run? So there were many questions in their mind. Is he a crook? Is he really a criminal or a dishonest person? Is he a smuggler or a thief or something like that? Why is his face badly scarred? Scarred means permanent marking after a wound gets healed. Suppose some injury is there and that gets healed, so there is some marking remain permanently. That is called a scar. So why his face was badly scarred? His face was badly scarred, and they had a question in their mind. Why has he no friends? Again, they had a question that why he did not have any friends. So their detective activity starts in this way. They feel that they have to find out about Mr. Nath, what is the real story behind Mr. Nath. In the story, dear students, there are five characters. Maya, a girl of 10, who is Maya is narrator of this story. She is of 10 years and her brother Nishad, a boy of 7. They become expert detectives. So who are expert detectives in this story? This Maya and Nishad, they become expert detectives. Mrs. Pandit, their mother, is a doctor with her clinic. Mr. Nath, the principal character and who lives in Shankar's house alone. This Shankar's house, maybe the lodge, and in that Shankar's house, he was living alone, is under her treatment. So he was under the treatment of their mother, whose mother of Maya and Nisha. Ramesh takes tea and meals from restaurants to Nath's room. Nath pays cash and also tips to beer or well. So Ramesh was a working person over there. So he just his work was to provide tea and meal from restaurant to Mr. Nath, and Mr. Nath provides him a good tip also. The children go ahead to collect information about Mr. Nath. They think Mr. Nath is a mysterious person. Mysterious means I think I have already discussed this word mysterious. Mysterious means something which is secret about somebody. Okay, so there must be some secrecy. So there must be some secret about this person. He has no friend there. Nishad has a bit of sympathy for Nath. His approach in this case is sensible. So See, there was two views, Maya's views and Nishad views was there. So Maya, the narrator, is sure that Mr. Nath is an escape crook or criminal. Nishad is doubtful. He wants to discover the truth and he collects a lot of information in the case. Maya, who is the narrator of this story, she was very much confident that he is an escape crook or criminal. Nishad is doubtful about that. He wants to discover the truth and he collects a lot of information in the case. Maya has got a ready answer to all Nishad's doubts. So, whatever the argument Nishan does, Maya has ready answer for that. She was thinking very logically and she was taking all the conditions practically the into the consideration. She thinks that Nath is a rich man. He has perhaps got millions of rupees locked in some trunks in his room. So there was a trunk in his room. Actually, they wanted to find it out also what is there in that trunk. She she notes dark scars also on Nath's face. Nath might have got them during a shot out with the police. But Nishad contradicts her. Mummy had told him, Mummy means his mother had told him that they were burns of scars. So in this way, dear student, there was difference of opinion in these expert detectives. One day, Seven goes alone to his mama's clinic at Girgaon. So one day, Seven alone goes to his mama's clinic at Girgaon. He gets upset to see Mr. Nath, who looks so thin, poor, and starving. When he saw Mr. Nath, he felt the pity for him because he was a patient. He got too thin, poor, and starving. He goes to Nath's room and puts a bar of chocolate in his hand. It was out of sympathy, out of humanity. Nishad took first step of friendship towards Mr. Nath in this way, dear students. So as Nishad gets the chance to meet Mr. Nath again, he collects one more clue about Mr. Nath's routine. So he gets some more information about Mr. Nath. Ramesh told him, Ramesh, you know who is Ramesh? Ramesh is another character. Ramesh is the servant, we can say, the work person who provides the meal and tea to Mr. Nath. So Ramesh told him that Mr. Nath is not particular about what he eats. So he was not, Mr. Nath was not particular that he wanted that some very great things to eat. It's always the same food, two chapatis, some dal and a vegetable. He pays cash and tips well. On every Sunday, he carries two lunches to Mr. Nath's room, and the same visitor is with him each time. So every Sunday, one visitor comes or visits Mr. Nath. So what some person visits Mr. Nath, this was the new information. The tall, fair, and stout visitor. Stout means who is very, we can say, bodily, who is strong, stout. So tall, fair, and stout visitor talks a lot, whereas Mr. Nath simply listens, but he cannot imagine that Nath is a crook. So such all information though this Nishad has got that some person comes to his room on every Sunday. Ramesh told him on that day, every Sunday he just brought two meals for Mr. Nath because his visitor is there on every Sunday. Still, Nishad did not feel that Mr. Nath was a crook. Crook means a dishonest person or some criminal. So the school opened after the summer holidays the next day, but they could not attend it because of unexpected heavy rains. So Nishad had already um, met again Mr. Nath. Next day, their school reopens, and unexpectedly, they get holiday because of heavy rain. Nishad was busy reading his comics when Maya informed what she had done. So Maya had done, well, she had used her holiday in a way to investigate their case further. So, how she investigates her case further will uh, will discuss, dear students, in the next part of the same video. So, dear students, you have understood that who are the expert detectives and to which criminal actually they are trying to follow. In next video, we'll see that do they get success to catch the criminal? Do they get some more information about the criminal, or was he not a criminal and only uh, an innocent person? So, all these answers you will get in the next video. Till the time, goodbye.